By now, you've heard enough about how plastic straws are awful for the environment. Plastic pollution itself is complex, but it has led to a tiny shift away from single-use plastics and towards alternatives like substituting metal, glass, or paper straws instead of plastic. The number of users is rising, which is good news for the environment, but there's a non-environmental reason I find this thing so interesting. Namely that straws are still a utensil, just as much as forks and knives are. And decades of food science research shows us that if you change the tools you eat food with, you change your food consumption behavior with it. So if we're headed towards a future with possibly no plastic straws or only alternative straws, how will that change the way we drink? Spoiler alert, those metal straws are a lot less effective than you think they are. Okay, so big picture. While those alternative straws are growing in popularity, they're barely making a dent in the overall use of plastic straws. According to a survey in 2018, 84% of American adults still use plastic straws at least some of the time, with most of them using them while they're outside of their home. Working age people tended to use plastic straws more often than middle age and the elderly, and women were slightly more likely to use one in the average day than men. But of course, that survey doesn't tell us the whole picture. People are still using all kinds of utensils to drink their water or whatever beverages, whether that's a reusable bottle, single-use plastic cups and bottles, or maybe alternative straws. What that survey does tell us is that plastic straws are a popular enough utensil that a tweak in that industry has the potential to impact drinking behavior. And as a rule, behavior change usually comes down to convenience. Easy access almost always wins over the morally superior yet slightly difficult choice like a reusable straw. And as of right now in 2019, we don't have any direct research about how these alternative straws affect drinking behavior. We have anecdotes, but that's not data. So we're stuck drawing conclusions from other related stories. Metal and glass are a hassle to carry around, paper dissolves after like 5 sips, and nobody has come up with a good alternative boba straw yet. In fact, they're so bad that people will choose different drinks to avoid using paper straws altogether, which might be one of the reasons that Gen Z is all about sticker blasting their canteens. Or maybe it's because it's a status symbol. Sorry, Dave Franco. But it serves the same purpose. They're drinking more water and they're using less plastic. In fact, a 2015 study in the Journal of Public Health showed that literally just giving school kids a cup made them drink twice as much water throughout the day. It was only a few ounces, but the lesson is clear. Convenience is king. And shifting away from plastic straws doesn't necessarily mean shifting towards alternative straws if another option is more convenient, right? Like plenty of people have complained about the taste and functionality of paper straws, plus straws themselves play some weird mind games on us. A study of elderly folks in 2014 compared how they drank 100 milliliters of water straight from a cup or with a straw. They found that they drank bigger sips, drank faster, and drank a greater volume of water from the cup instead of from straws. It's the same cup of water, same taste, same amount, you just changed how you consumed it. And of course, drinking utensils affect younger folks too. Research published in 2013 had participants drink liquid through either a thin juice box straw or one of those big boba straws. It was night and day different. Participants thought they were getting way more liquid from the tiny straw compared to the boba straw. Why was that? Well, the small straws required them to use more effort to pull up the same volume of water. So they thought with all the increased effort from the smaller straws, they must be drinking more. Now, that's a great brain hack if you're trying to limit the consumption of a liquid, like say you don't want to drink that much alcohol when you go out. But that's bad news if you're one of the people that requires a straw to drink, like lots of elderly people or folks with disabilities do. Paper straws tend to be smaller in diameter, like those presented in this study. So if we only present paper straws to these vulnerable groups, I fear that we may be putting them at a further disadvantage. But we also know that people tend to drink less when they're being observed than they would in their regular free time. So we need to look at these studies with a healthy dose of skepticism. So all in all, paper straws don't have some magical ingredient that zaps the water out of your cells. I made this video for you to appreciate how the drinking utensil that you use impacts the drinks that you have. A special thanks goes out to my past students Eliza, Andrea, and Nathaniel who helped me research and write this episode. If you like this video, definitely leave them some feedback in the comments. And a big shout out goes to Jessica, who recently became my very first Patreon patron. If you want early access to videos or a good way to support the channel, you can check it out here. Another way you can support the channel is by sharing the videos, clicking subscribe, like down there, or by watching any of my other videos like these two here. Have fun, be good, and I'll see you next time.